let's start with Smackdown here. I actually
Have you watched this yet?
think about this. Speaking of being in a pissy mood, my Monday consisted of watching 4 hours of Smackdown and 3 hours of Raw.
That does suck.
Yeah. Could have been worse. Could have been 5 straight hours of Impact, but...
So you were 2 Smackdowns behind.
I was 2 Smackdowns behind, but I'm caught up now.
Huh. Wow, that is awful. I only did Smackdown and Raw, although I did do them back-to-back. But I suppose if you were watching all that show, you had to do it back-to-back too. Smackdown this week opened... Basically, this is a pretty useless show, except for 2 great Christian promos. Came out to open the show. He, at the opening of this promo, he was kind of going back and forth, kind of being a tweener. He said some fans liked him, some fans hated him, and then in the middle of this promo he said that he didn't care what the fans think, he was done talking to them, and he was not going to talk to the peeps anymore, so everyone booed and said, "You suck." So this was the precise moment his heel turn was complete. He called Cole into the ring, talked about how the same fans who were upset when he lost the title were now upset that he had laid out Orton. He didn't understand why Teddy was asking the fans what they wanted instead of giving the people who work for the company what they had deserved. He blamed the fans for choosing Orton to face him in the title defense, and finally he said, "I'm not talking to the fans anymore, so Cole, I want you to ask them, do they think I deserve a title match?" Everyone booed. Cole asked them a question, they all booed again louder, and Christian said he was going to win the title for himself, not for the fans. It was a good promo. And then as he walked out, the WWE Facebook address flashed across the screen with the following sentence: "The audience doesn't seem to be taking favorably to Christian's actions. Was Christian justified?"
Yeah.
Hearty lulls followed.
I'm not a big fan of the Christian heel turn. I figured they were going to turn him heel, but I thought it would be done better. Like maybe in the pay-per-view match coming up on Sunday.
Yeah.
He finally flips his lid or something like that.
And
instead it was just like, what he did to Orton and Sheamus, it all made sense. He didn't want Sheamus to win the title. He wanted to win the title from Orton. Mm-hmm. And then he laid the guy out.
Yeah.
Orton lays people out with RKOs all the time.
All the damn... And punched them in the head.
Yeah.
Instead of a belt shot.
So it was like, okay, well, maybe not the nicest thing to do, but hey, the guy's passionate, If
you think about it... Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say also that he's a guy that if you watch the ladder match and you watch the thing with Edge and you watch the whole storyline, he's not a guy that, as Buddy Wayne used to say, when it's time. And it wasn't time to do this heel turn. The fans are not ready to boo Christian.
No.
So they boo him because they're supposed to, but then he sort of doesn't get really much of a reaction at all, and it's just not... They messed this up.
He really, if you think about it, he had to come out and explain to the fans that he had to turn heel last week because it wasn't clear at the time. That's basically what happened here. Wade Barrett, Heath Slater, and Justin Gabriel versus Ezekiel Jackson and the Usos, who are still employed. Wade and Zeke didn't do anything until the finish, and then they had the heat on, I believe, Jey Uso, one of the Usos, and he made the hot tag to Zeke, and Wade was the legal man when he saw this, and he immediately turned around and tagged out like a coward. That's good. So Slater got in his face, Wade just walked away, and the remaining heels were soon vanquished. It was fun.
This is the worst feud in the world.
Hell, it is. I've given up on that already.
I'm so sick of this feud.
I do feel like Wade has walked out on the core about 16 times.
Well, they finally broke up with him on this show.
I guess.
And it's like, that's the big core breakup?
Yeah. Yes, it was.
Lame.
In a wacky segment where Teddy was placing bets on horse races, and then Sheamus walked in and Teddy had to lie. So Sheamus wanted a match with Christian after he said Christian screwed him out of the title the week before, and I know we say this all the time, but it's one of those things where you watch TNA and you realize how many things WWE does right. Between video recaps and when guys are cutting promos almost all the time, they say specifically why they are angry with someone. So he did that here. He wanted a match with Christian. Teddy said no, but he gave him a match with Orton in a no DQ match for no reason instead, but it made Sheamus happy.
I was just wondering if they were going to go anywhere with the horse racing.
Maybe they will. Maybe he'll have massive gambling debts.
Yeah. That's immediately what I thought, but then I thought, oh, seriously, they're going to follow up with this? Not a chance.
It will never be mentioned again. Core had a meeting backstage, and they broke up.
Jilted lovers.
That's really about it. Trent Beretta versus Jinder Mahal. Trent Beretta took the highest backdrop of 2011 so far. And then he went up to the top rope, but Khali stared him down and he froze, and Mahal clobbered him and won with the full Nelson Slam. I win.
I didn't think this was a win. I don't think, like, when Jinder Mahal, I talked about this before, when he first appeared on the show, and, Khali and Ranjan Singh were treating him like he was hot shit, and he was cutting promos on Khali in the whole 9 yards. He felt like a big shot, Mm-hmm. Now they put him in the ring. He's green. He does one of my mini pet peeves in wrestling. The big guy who he throws a form to the back and then he stands up erect. Then he throws another one. I know that's going to become a drop. I don't give a fuck. Throws another one and then he stands straight up with his shoulders. It's just like, oh my fucking God, dude. So he's got work to do. I have nothing. I've no problem with the guy. But he's green, so let him do a bunch of matches on the road before he starts doing matches on TV. Because he was something. Point is, he was something special for a while there. Now he's just another green guy.
I see.
Not good.
Speaking of not good, we had a segment with AJ. The new interview geek was trying to interview her. Tamina and Rosa interrupted. They gave her a gift. It was cheese because she was, quote, a mousy little loser. She called them late cool knockoffs. They said she was going to be alone in the ring. Natalya walked up. The heels made a fart joke and walked away. Somebody is being paid money to write these segments.
The one last week was even worse.
Probably. They're horrible.
I'm sure AJ's a nice girl, but she has such intense go-away heat with me. And this isn't even her fault, but if I ever have to hear the announcers go on and on about how she's the girl next door, she's a nerd, she loves Xbox, she loves action movies, oh my God. That is the worst of WWE right there. Where it's like, okay, we got to come up with some sort of gimmick for this person, and then we got to like repeat it every week on television. So it's like it becomes a cliche about them, and this one is just infuriating. Plus, she just bounces around so much. She's very bouncy, in a non like bouncing boobs sort of way. She just jumps a lot.
So then she wrestled. She wrestled Tamina. They gave her a Disney Channel reject song for her theme music. It's completely absurd on a pro wrestling show, but it does make her stand out.
Oh, I got more. Speaking of standing out, I seem like maybe I'm still in a pissy mood from Sunday, but my dander is up here tonight. Can somebody, for the love of God, teach these fucking people how to run the ropes?
Apparently not.
Please! What do they do down there in Florida? What do they do?
I'm not there.
They don't learn good offense. They don't learn how to sell. They don't really learn how to work. They certainly can't fucking run the ropes. Like, I've mentioned this before. Every single solitary person that comes out of Florida can't run the ropes. The guys that were like something before and then they go to Florida, they can run the ropes. So they learned outside of Florida. But the people that like go to Florida to learn, to a person, they cannot run the ropes. Drives me nuts.
Yeah, it's not a good school. There's not much hope. So this match was it was bad, but they've had worse. This program is probably worse than the Wade Barrett Zeke Jackson feud. But AJ went for a dive. Tamina caught her in a fireman's carry, and then she stopped to talk shit to Natalya. And then AJ hit her with an elbow and rolled her up for the pin. So the feud continues.
Yeah.
It's still comedy. It's been 3 weeks now that AJ is wrestling and Natalya is talking.
Mm-hmm.
Bad. They recapped the Christian Orton deal. Orton came out for a promo. He called out Christian. Christian appeared on the big screen instead. He refused to come down. Orton called him a pussy and dared him to come out. Christian demanded one more title match. Said he could have gotten Orton's shoulders down last week, but he didn't want to because he doesn't want to win the title from Sheamus. He wants to win it from Orton. So Orton said, I beat you to win this title. I beat you a few weeks later. I'm ready to beat you again right now. Christian said, no, we're doing things on my terms, and that means you and me for the title at the pay-per-view. And Orton said, fine, it doesn't matter when or where. I'm going to beat you like I always do. And Christian said, I'll see you at the pay-per-view, and he got in his car and drove off. Great! This was a great segment.
This was pretty damn good.
This was probably the best thing we'll review on the show, actually. Ted DiBiase and Cody Rhodes did a wacky segment backstage. This duo is bizarre now because you have Cody Rhodes being completely insane and Ted just being boring. And somehow they hang out together. I guess just because they used to.
I was a huge fan of the new Dashing Cody Rhodes, no longer Dashing, with the mask and the whole 9 yards, but they have so killed this gimmick.
Oh, God. When there's a point here, they were arguing about whatever, and then Cody decided he wanted a paper bag, and so he called his bagger by shouting, "Bagger!" And a bagger walked in. Comedy, everyone. Comedy.
The promos he cuts are just so awful. And it's not his fault.
His delivery is great. The material sucks.
It's the most just idiotic delivery. And then the bag gimmick, and all the fans love having the bags on their head.
The bag gimmick is a terrible idea that needs to be abandoned right now.
Very down on this program.
Yeah, there's just no reason for these two human beings to hang out anymore. So it started as Sin Cara versus DiBiase. They wrestled for like 2 minutes. It was good, although there was some blatant editing. But that's why Sin Cara's on SmackDown. Cody interfered almost immediately for the DQ. They beat him up until Daniel Bryan ran out to make the save.
I thought, oh, great! What a great match for the pay-per-view in 2 weeks. Wrong.
Nope, you get it right now. Yes, you get it right now. So, yes, it was Cody and Ted versus Sin Cara and Daniel Bryan. You would think, okay, Daniel Bryan's awesome, and Sin Cara's best thing is his comebacks. So you would get the heat on Bryan, and then make the hot tag to Sin Cara. And you would be wrong. So Sin Cara had to work the bulk of the match. He mostly did fine, although there was a point where he went for a rolling armbar that would have been really awesome in the middle of the ring, but instead he and DiBiase tumbled into the ropes like geeks. Bryan got the hot tag and ran wild. That was good. And Sin Cara took out Cody with a tope, and Bryan went for a dive. DiBiase caught him, but he caught him in such a way that Bryan hooked a guillotine and then turned that into the label lock for the win. It was fun, although honestly I was expecting a lot better.
I was as well. It was all right, but a letdown.
It was yeah. I had high hopes, and they were not met. Johnny Curtis appeared.
This was an example where I go on the board, and granted it's about 3 people, but they're on and on. Oh, Brian watches World of Hurt, but he doesn't watch NXT.
Yeah.
Why doesn't Brian watch NXT? What a great show. Then we have Johnny Curtis here. Yes, last week he poured milk on himself after crying over it. This week he had a potato chip on his shoulder. Both segments sucked!
I actually like better when he explained that he won the last season of NXT months ago, but has only appeared on TV twice since then.
Yeah.
That is exactly what he said. And what that is telling everyone is don't waste your time watching NXT.
Yes.
Because even the winner will disappear.
It's pointless.
It is shit. Speaking of shit, more shit with Obama. Sucked. Probably the same one. I skipped it. Stryker was interviewing Orton. Actually, this is just a pointless little promo. It sucked. Sheamus and Orton. It was. He had nothing to say. Sheamus wrestled Orton in a no DQ non-title match. These two fuckers beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah.
I cannot believe the damage they were taking for a completely forgettable SmackDown main event. No one will remember this in a month, but they want people to. They threw each other into stuff. They hit each other hard. They used a stick. They brought steps into the ring. Sheamus got power slammed onto them at a bad angle. It looked like it sucked bad. So they're having this great match, and what the hell happened here? Christian ran in. Orton was prepped for the RKO. Christian ran in behind him, went for the kill switch. But Orton reversed it and was about to RKO Christian, but he fled. Sheamus then clobbered Orton from behind. Orton escaped both of his finishes, and he hit the RKO, but then Christian reappeared and laid out Orton with the title belt, and Sheamus dragged himself across Orton's dead body and pinned him for the win. So, fun match, and it makes sense that Christian would interfere, but just giving Sheamus the win, does that mean there's going to be a 3-way at some point?
What that means is on SmackDown this week, they're doing Christian versus Sheamus, where the winner gets the title shot.
I see. Mm-hmm. On the Go Home show.
Yeah.
On the Go Home show, the main event is in doubt.
Why not, everybody?
Who cares?
Why not?
Yeah, so the main event was fun. The 2 Christian promos were really good. Not much else to see.
No, I watched 4 hours of SmackDown, and I thought, man, I'm being I'm doing my job here. I'm watching these shows. And when it was over, I was like, I didn't need to do that. I missed literally nothing in 2 weeks.
Pretty much, yeah.
Literally nothing. I missed not. Well, I guess the Christian Sheamus or the Orton Sheamus match was all right. There was a couple of good things here and there, but I mean, realistically, did I miss anything by missing the last 2 weeks? The answer is no.
No.